Red Hood Outlaw issue 34, written by Scott Lobdell and art by maybe Pete Woods. He did the last one.
It was Pete Woods.
There
I
you
didn't
go.
actually think to check and tell you. I just went, was it Pete Woods? I was like, yeah, it was.
Yeah.
I mean, that's one positive thing I can say about this book is it's had very consistent art. The artists have typically been good, and also they tend to stick around for full arcs at the very least. I mean, Pete Woods has been on for it. I mean, this is halfway through his second arc now, I think.
Has it been on since they changed the name?
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's always just nice to see on any book, I think, to have that consistency. So yeah, this starts before in another plane of existence, and I'm like, oh Jesus Christ, what are we doing here? And it's Jason, a younger Jason, fighting against some big monster with tentacles and shitloads of teeth and a lot of eyes. And he's got a all blade, and the monster's like, oh, they gave you an all blade, they must be desperate. But then he takes it out anyway, because he has more than one all blade. Because apparently an all blade is a physical manifestation of your soul, and then he throws like a lot of blades come flying out of his. So he's like, oh, I must have had a lot of soul back then.
Oh God!
Yeah, that was an actual line of dialogue. You know, clearly I had a lot of soul back then.
Like I like the idea of infusing your blade with your soul, right? It's why katana works, and it's one of the things in the Wolverine story of when they brought in Dakin, the whole idea of the Muramasa blade,
Right.
And it was forged from a chunk of Wolverine's soul, and that's why it's the only thing that can kill him.
I think this is slightly different, where it's not like a piece of their soul. It's because they're in this other plane of existence. Your entire soul is physically represented as a blade, and the stronger your soul, the better
so
the
stupid
weapon. I guess I'm kind of making some leaps here, given context. But yeah, no, he fought the thing, he saved the day, and then the old cast let him go. Because they were like, oh, cheers for saving the kids, or whatever it was that he was doing. Then we cut to now, and he's in Paris, and he's having a date with the girl from last issue, who was apparently from like issue 10 of the New 52 run. So obviously I don't remember this at all. With good reason, obviously. But yeah, they're having a bit of a day, and they're reminiscing and going, oh, hey, you know, he sets out an extra drink because he was here with Roy at one point, and it's like, oh, in his memory. And apparently the last time they were here, they were fighting mimes. I vaguely remember that.
Because that's what you want to do when you see a mime.
That might have been in the annual, maybe. I don't know. But we cut back to the Iceberg Lounge while we're there. Miguel's running things. That's Bunker for anyone who's forgotten. He's got the most terrible exposition page. It's among Lobdell's worst exposition pages ever, actually.
That's saying a lot.
Yeah, no, this whole page is him going, it's, oh, come on, focus. We're days away from being ready to reopen, but, Jason wants us up and running tonight, but he pays us the big bucks because I'm his executive assistant. It's not as glamorous as saving the world with the Teen Titans, but it's helping deal with my being overwhelmed with my sonic powers. And he's like, oh, it's like my mind's keyed into a reality that doesn't exist anymore, which, now that I say it out loud, it has to be as crazy as it sounds. This job helps me keep my mind organized. That was an actual quote. This is a full page, and then it gets to the end, and I'm like, I'm there going, he's not saying this to anyone. What's going on? Why is he saying all this? And then, as if Lobdell's gone, shit, yeah, he should have been saying that to someone. He just puts an extra bullet in and goes, now, if Jason can help me figure out how to stop talking to myself out loud so often. What? That doesn't excuse it. That doesn't make it better. It's still terrible writing. You just went, yeah, I know this is terrible writing, so here's an excuse. I don't know, but he's saying this in the room where Penguin's on the other side of the aquarium in his panic room. But it's soundproof, so we can't hear him. But he knocks against the glass, and it's supposed to be soundproof both ways. So, but Miguel turns around as if he hears something or sees something, even though you definitely can't. So I'm not sure why. But just he's got that awareness that something's there. But yeah, I don't know. But we're back to Jason. He's still in Paris. He's finished his day. He's dropped her off at the hotel, and he's costumed up then, and he's jumping around, and he busts in on a bunch of mob bosses, the Eurobloc, who are this here is the heads of the 5 biggest crime families in Europe, representing Germany, England, Scotland, Russia, and Denmark, because apparently those are the big 5.
Okay.
And they're all
So
like,
Pete, what Abdel's saying is you're all criminals there.
All right.
yeah.
You
thought it was
you should
interesting.
tread lightly, Matt. That's all I'm saying. You should tread lightly.
I thought it was interesting that all of Europe, and he decides to separate England and Scotland, and doesn't use, I don't know, Italy, Spain, anyone else. I don't know. Felt like a weird choice to me.
I don't know, I'll give them some points actually. More people should separate Scotland and England when they're
No.
discussing them.
I agree in context of that, but in the context of all of Europe, I feel like we didn't need Scotland and England.
Yeah, pick
have
one
some
or the
variety.
other.
Yeah.
That's like having U.S. and Canada.
Right, like have all like
one.
I don't think there's any of the there's none of the Mediterranean countries around here on this that we could have
So
gone.
it's England, Scotland, Russia, and what are the other 2?
Germany and Denmark.
Oh wow, that is a white AF
Right, could have
cartel.
gone. I mean, even if we got some Spanish, Italian, Greek. I don't know. Like there's things you could do that would make this more interesting, I think.
Hoo-wee.
Yeah, but basically they're like, hey, no, we were summoned by Jason Todd, the new owner of the Iceberg Lounge. We're not here to waste time with people, hired assassins wearing pajamas. And he's like, well, Jason actually works for me, so he's the public face of my business interests, and lies and tells them that he doesn't know what happened to Cobblepot. He just bought it out from underneath him, but then Penguin ran away. And they're like, well, we invested hundreds of millions of dollars into that to keep their money clean, and it's not Penguins to sell. And he's there to tell them that he's not into the money laundering business, so then go screw themselves. And they point a lot of guns at him, as expected. But then he gets a phone call. He's like, sorry, I'm just going to take this. And he puts it, but he uses a fancy projector phone. Instead of just putting it on speakerphone, he projects it out, and it's Wingman. He's like, oh, I'll just give you a status report. And then another projection comes in and shows like this plane targeting all of them. Somehow avoiding him. It's very specific playing this. He's in the same room as them, and it's individually targeting all of them. But he's fine. And he's like, well, just give the word, and we're ready to fire. But obviously they're like, yeah, we're done here. They let him go, so he goes off home. And that's it. The final page of the issue is Miguel, knocking on the soundproof glass, saying, okay, Cobblepot, a moment of your time. And Cobblepot is grinning like a maniac, to be expected. Yeah, this is such a superfluous issue. It felt like, I'm gonna, the whole thing of Jason, given that it's supposed to be his book, his whole thing here is, I'm gonna go and tell the crime families I'm not laundering their money, but that's about it. And then Miguel's got some terrible, terrible exposition, and somehow knows Penguin's in there. I don't know. Yeah, art's fine though. He never gets a chance to show off because it's very just straightforward. A lot of people in rooms, conversations. There's not really any action. Bit of a boring issue, even by this book standard. It's not crazy bad. It's not like the worst thing it's had. It's just a really dull issue. So I'll give it a 3.5.